Oh, look at that nice lychee tree. Kaffir lime in the back. Nice fig over here. And this is one of the areas we'll be planting. We did put some bananas in here already, but this bed extends. This has been mulched for years, and we have a hose spigot right there. So I figure we'll get in like three fruit trees right here. Here's another view of that lower planting area. Those banana trees were all done from macro propagation with the middle school class, and they're doing well. That's got good soil there, so just full of humus. And this is just an overview of our campus here, the lower campus. That field down there is also school property. There's 11 acres total, and it's in kind of a blank canvas. But so you see there's been fruit trees incorporated just within the groundscaping. So like you got the lychee here, big fig right there, tons of figs on it. Look at all the figs on this thing. This was cut back recently. This thing's exploding with figs. The kids just did a great propagation from cuttings of figs class, and we now have about 20 more fig trees. We did it with budding tape. They were in little cutout plastic bottles as greenhouses, and they were 100% success. So just a little overview. There's room for 2 more here, but this is another example of how fruit trees are incorporated throughout campus. This is some Ka'u oranges, nice tangerines, blood oranges, and a Buddha's hand lemon tree. And these are just going back into fruit now, but we get tons of fruit for the students and aftercare programs from these. So I see these, this has been mulched for a decade, and keeping with like a good 15-foot spacing, we're going to put 2 to 3 more trees in here. Another example of how fruit trees are just incorporated into the campus. This is a star fruit that we get a ton of fruit from. And another thing that we'll do with all the trees on campus, fruit trees, is we use them for our lessons on, say, air layering or grafting or cuttings. But this thing gets loaded, and the kids love these. We harvest tons from this tree. So we got Rollinia here and soursop, which we've been cutting back, and really, as soon as you cut these things back, they just burst in fruit. So this is going to be harvesting soon. But it's just an example of how we have fruit trees spread throughout the campus. Up here in the shade of this plumeria trees, I just had the kids put in a row of cacao, and they're getting attacked by rose beetle right now, but all these things will grow. As soon as they kind of reach the right size, the rose beetle won't be an issue. This is cutie clementines. Should be going into fruit soon. It's kind of a offset fruiting pattern from the rest of the citrus, but this thing will get just full. It'll be almost the whole tree will turn orange. So that's great. The kids love those. They're seedless. Right, just right in the middle of campus, incorporated into it. And then over here, you'll see this giant mango tree. Oh, good news up there. This thing hasn't fruited in years. And I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he said, get a whole bunch of fireworks wrappers and bury it near the stem, which I didn't do, but I did go get a whole bunch of phosphorus, and it looks like it sparked it to bloom. Very exciting. So over here we got allspice. Down there we got a little dragon fruit thing going on, but you know, this whole strip right here is something that we have to work with. And from here up for about, I don't know, like a couple 100 yards, it's all been mulched for years and has irrigation waiting. So this is a major strip right here. I'll take some better videos. Again, one of the things that we'll do with all of the fruit trees that we have on campus is use them for class for propagation. So here, the 7th graders are doing a nice air layer, a big one, on this this mango shoot, which, you know, that's a great spot to do one. It's going straight up. It's got plenty of hormone, and it should be successful. So here's another video which shows the beginnings of this strip of mulch. And as you see, we got some Kau oranges and some hybridized blood orange. It's actually a pink orange. It's absolutely delicious. That have been grown here for years. And these supply so much citrus for the campus and the aftercare. And, you know, this is kind of the spacing. I think we're gonna go with a little bit closer spacing and keep the trees a little bit smaller, kind of like I do on my own trees, which I'll take some videos of for you. And we are just gonna go right up this entire strip right here. So, I mean, we could fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're gonna fit like 8, 9 trees right in this area. This is a berm outside of the 1st and 2nd grade that was previously had quite a nice trees growing here, and I'm not exactly sure why, but they got removed. So we want to redo this, and we want to put in some fruit trees all along this berm. Extends over there. It's been mulched. We have irrigation set up, and possibly something like within this playground right here. You know, maybe a small mango or something, but just to add shade and more fruit. Okay, this is the top of that berm above 1st and 2nd. And, you know, we do have like one citrus tree here, but this whole thing is ready to go. It's got irrigation set up. It's a nice long strip. And, you know, with about a 14-foot spacing offset, I want to put in a row of, you know, a double row of trees here. So this is going to be a prime area. And I'll show you what 14-foot offset spacing looks like. I'll take a video up at my own house, and it works out good. You can, if you keep the trees, you know, at orchard size. So here's an area which we're reclaiming from the weeds and just mulching. And like we've already done it here. And we did put some trees in the ground here. We did some bananas from transplant from our other banana trees. These are some papayas that we grew from seed of a real nice variety, big papayas. And a few seedlings that we were given. Meringue, purple star apple, ice cream bean. What else do I see here? Sapote. But the idea is that turn this from this dry, unshaded area, you know, into a shaded, water-retaining, fruit-bearing area. And that's what we're doing with all these little areas here. So this kind of spacing is what we're going to do with the trees that we're going to get with your grant. And, you know, there'll be better trees. These are just seedlings that we got given to us. Some of them are going to make it, some of them aren't. Here's another view of that strip of mulch that comes from the 1st and 2nd grade. And another thing to note here is that they are building on that side of this road. So we really do want to close off this view. Luckily, they're putting a kids' school, like for young kids. But yeah, we have this area mulched. It's got irrigation. And it's going to be just a continuation of those trees, like those fruit trees, those orange trees that are down there. Just continue it right up this strip. a nice mix. Here's another area which we have put seedlings in, just to show you kind of the density of planting. There you got purple star apple. It looks like sapote, I think mame sapote, meringue, loquat, bananas, papaya, more papaya. Here's an area which we are working on at the moment. We're gonna give these things all a trim, but we just put these little tiny pomegranate seedlings in here, and they have exploded. They love it. It's so dry and hot, no water. So there's 3 there. We're gonna add another 3, maybe 6. But we're doing those from cuttings now, so we're propagating them in class. This is something we propagated last year from cuttings. This needs a big trim, which we're starting to do in class, and we are taking those cuttings that we trim and we're putting them in pots, propagating them and giving them out to the parents. This is all Vietnamese, red on the outside, white on the inside, self-propagating dragon fruits, and the kids built all these structures. So this is the kind of stuff we do. We're gonna do this kind of stuff with the grant money. We're gonna use it for buying trees, and also, you know, for setting up the planting sites. That's what we do. This is another mulch strip that we're gonna, you know, this starts over by where those pomegranates are, and then we have this healthy crown thorn. This one is looking like it's dead and it's gonna be removed, but that'll open up a few fruit trees right here, and then it continues here, and we'll get in, you know, 2 trees here, a few down here. We already did put in a jackfruit and a loquat here that was gifted to us, but we're probably going to double up the spacing here, kind of like we do at my house, where we have a front row and a offset back row, because this area we would like to kind of occlude that view right there, because they're going to be building something there, and it's a great area to add more fruit to the campus and also more shade. So this is the entrance, the upper entrance to campus, and this is kind of a dry strip that doesn't have really much irrigation. We can water it, but we have been planting stuff that doesn't like water. And look at how well these pomegranates are doing here. These came from seedling, they're already fruiting. Papayas do well. This mulch is probably 2 feet, 3 feet thick. Been mulched for years. And I drag a hose down here, and I'm gonna talk with our groundskeeper about putting a faucet along this thing so that we can water more. This is just great ground here. We might remove some of these tea leaves and put in some fruit trees here, but you know, we've planted the whole strip with pomegranates, papayas. There's another pomegranate. These are these papayas that we grew from seed. They don't get very tall, but the fruits are big, tasty too. And then the students put in a whole grove of bananas here, which we did from transplants and also from macro propagation. And they're doing great. I mean, this soil doesn't get that much water, but the mulch is so thick it holds it. Look, all these papayas we grew from seed. Pomegranates, papayas, bananas. And this is just the kind of fruit forest density that we're going for here. So a strip like this, we would like to add some trees to, and we will get an irrigation just run from that faucet so that we can hose it down easily, or maybe put in a timer. So on the other side of the road here, on the upper entrance, you know, there's our garden area. There's our seedling double tent that we use for seedlings and starter plants. There's our raised bed gardens, but we have this huge swath here, this huge stretch of mulched for years that's just not being used. And what we hope to do here is to put in like kind of tubs of really good soil and plant trees interspaced here, and turn this into a shaded area. with a ton of trees. We could double plant this easily. So this strip is probably like, I don't know, like 300, 400 feet long. And the kids right now have put squash in here. Look at the density of growth on these. I hope you guys are growing Oppo, because man, we harvest about a full pickup bed of Oppo every 10 days here. And a couple other kinds of squash in here too, kombucha and some bigger squash. I'll walk down to the end to show you how long this thing goes. Oh man, is that like a 20-pound pumpkin? Look at all these Oppo squash. So you can see there's some ulu here, some papaya, but really this is just a blank slate up here. We're gonna have the irrigation line come right up through here and dig out some big holes, fill them with some really good compost. And the rest of this has been mulched for years. There's tons of humus, but we will put in some like distinct fortified planting holes up here. But you know, this can fit a lot of trees. And it'll change the campus. It's gonna add a lot of shade from the morning sun into these areas, cool it down. And anywhere that you see grass, we can also just put in a couple nice trees, like maybe some mango along the edges. Man, there is a ton of squash in here. Look at this. Look at all these Oppo. I don't know why everybody doesn't grow Oppo. Bugs don't like it. Things are like the size of watermelons. And there's probably, I don't know, 200 of them right here ready to pick. Be 200 again next week. Some of the more traditional garden stuff, the upper raised garden, all built by students last year. This whole area was reclaimed, kind of like what we can do up in that whole stretch where the squash are. We just mulched it, leveled it out. We get tons of wood chips delivered to us by all the tree workers, and then we get one of our students' dad has a compost business, and he gives us free compost whenever we ask. He brings the truck over. We just put this up this year. It's just a little seedling house. Kind of a mess right now, but you know, we take a lot of seedlings that we find under a mango tree or whatever. We're growing some avocado from seed here, and we'll use these for teaching grafting. You know, we're using a lot of these little greenhouses to get cuttings to turn into viable tree stock. So this is, you know, we do a lot of root stock in here too. Like this is all like mango root stock that we dug up, and now we're gonna let it get healthy again, and then we'll graft onto it. More root stocks. This is all trifoliate orange root stocks we're growing so we can graft citrus. Tomatoes from suckers. Bunch of, I don't know if you can see the budding tape, but these are successful cuttings that kids have made using figs, budding tape, and then using the plastic bottles as a little mini greenhouse. Works out great. Here's another banana coming out of our macro propagation tub. This is probably like, I don't know, like the 30th but healthy banana tree we get out of this little tub from macro propagation. And this is our younger kids' mala garden. They love the finger limes, and we do tons of air layering on the finger lime trees. Got coconuts, bananas, lemons, ulu, Suriname cherries, tons of squash, kalo, and you know, just some more herbs, tons of herbs, lemongrass, onions, fennel, basils. And this is where the like kindergarten through 6th graders come in here and just dig and cut things, and they're allowed to use not power tools, but they use machetes, even like 3rd graders. So this is where they hang out. Have a nice ulu trees there. Big ulu tree here, produce a ton. This is our garden clubhouse where we do all our instruction. And so, like, we were just taking cuttings from dragon fruit and we're going to be tying those up. One thing we all learned was when you're putting dragon fruit into soil as a cutting, you use dry soil because there's no roots yet, so it's only going to get rotted. So you let these cure for a week, put them in there. Here's some more little mini greenhouses where, you know, there's a pomegranate tree that we just did from cutting, right? So these little greenhouses are great for that. I mean, everybody's got plastic bottles, and it makes a huge difference in your success rate. If you use the budding tape in the little greenhouses, you can do successful cuttings from a lot of things. Back side of the upper garden here, we have another nice strip. And this it's a little bit planted out, but I think we can squeeze in a few more things. These need a little trim, like some of these trees were way taller than I would have liked, so I've been cutting them back, like that soursop, cut it in half. These guavas got cut way back. That tangerine tree is gonna get a good trim. I want everything to be more orchard style, much lower, easy to access. Same with that star fruit. I already cut it pretty much in half, and we're gonna get everything back in order here, because here's a nice black sapote and a jackfruit that we just put in the ground. Somebody gifted them to us. Some more soursop, pomelo. So we can put certain trees right into the grass, like dig a hole, put it in. You know, we're not gonna do it. We're gonna do it with trees that look nice, like Raposa mango or something. But we have a lot of grassy areas that we can also add trees to. This is our new Hawaiian Studies Center, and we'll be adding some fruit in here too, right along this area. Once again, we're gonna dig 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot holes, and kind of bar around them so that it's kind of loosened up around them, and fill them with real good soil, compost, and humus. Make sure that we got irrigation in place, and there we go. Be nice for a little grove right there. On the back side of the Hawaiian Studies building, there's another area here which has been mulched. It's got some coconut trees. It's covered in a thin layer of rocks, but there's good soil under there. I'd like to put something in right there, 2 trees next to these coconuts. Here's this strip right here is the other side of that cacao strip. And it's kind of cool because, I mean, it looks rocky right now, but we packed in a ton of good humus in here. And, you know, it's partially shaded by these plumerias, so certain things will work here. And I'm kind of looking to make this a tree tunnel. These cacao, they look kind of ratty right now, but they will grow. Those rose beetles, they can only eat so much. We were at a cacao farm yesterday and the guy told me the same thing. So that kind of wraps up the campus tour. But, you know, we're going to use this grant money to go up to Plant at Hawaii. We've already spoken with Jamie Nall up there. And we're waiting just on some avocados and mango trees that he suggested to get ready. And we're gonna go up there, we're gonna take the school van up there so they don't get all windburned when we come back. And we're gonna prep all the planting sites. We might get a small backhoe for a day, like a little mini X, just to dig out like, you know, 30, 40 holes, because it can be rocky here in Kona. But yeah, that's the plan. Thanks. And this is where, all the tree companies, they don't want to have to drive all the way to the green waste, so we let them drop mulch here. So this is all hardwood tree mulch that we get, this thing just gets continuously filled, and like some of it will turn over with the skid steer, get good humus. There's tons of, so we use a lot of this. So this is my backyard, and this is an example of kind of what I'm thinking for the school. This is about 14-foot offset spacing, and a lot of these trees, they still are immature, but like the Suriname cherries, I just try and keep everything kind of small. Like soursop doesn't need to be any bigger than these, right? How much soursop can you use? These dwarf called little cottos are great. Lychee, pomelo, different kinds of oranges. This is this beast here is a mulberry tree which needs a trim, but I ran lilikoi up it so that it produces a ton of lilikoi. But just so you get an idea of what, this is a full-size Tahitian lime tree. I keep it at that size so it's easy to trim, get tons of limes. And oranges, keep them small. Meyer lemons, keep them small. Grapefruits, these are ruby reds. So this is the kind of spacing and tree size that we're going for. There's another Mexican thornless limes. The whole idea is to keep it like orchard style. Lychee, different kinds of grapefruit. An orange tree doesn't really need to be bigger than that. That thing produces a ton of oranges. Calamansi, star fruits, keep them small. So this is the kind of spacing. Eureka lemons, that we're kind of thinking about for the school. 14-foot offset double spacing in some areas.